This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
On Wednesday morning, February 20th, 1907, two chaplains, residing thousands of miles apart, offered contrasting prayers to begin the legislative activities of the day. The first prayer, given at 11 a.m. Washington, D.C. time, was uttered by Unitarian minister Edward E. Hale, then serving as chaplain to the United States Senate. A dignified man with a distinctive look, Hale was known to give unconventional, familiar, and impressive prayers while serving Congress. When once asked, "Do you pray for the senators, Dr. Hale?" the bearded chaplain replied, "No, I look at the senators and pray for the country." Hale's idealism indicated both seriousness of character and a deep skepticism of politicians. On the docket this day was Senate Resolution 142, that Reed Smoot is not entitled to a seat as a senator of the United States from the state of Utah. It was juxtaposed against the constitutional imperative of Article 5, that no state, without its consent, shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. Smoot had been serving for 48 months as both a U.S. Senator and an LDS Apostle, the second highest governing body of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Within 5 hours of Hale's prayer, Smoot's political future was decided by a roll call vote of his senatorial colleagues. Concurrent with Chaplain Hale's prayer was a prayer spoken in Salt Lake City by Elder David Hess, a former LDS bishop, then serving as a chaplain to the Utah State Legislature. This petition to the throne of grace did not focus on the country at large, rather the parochial interests of Utah and Mormonism. Hess supplicated the hand of Providence to actively influence the Senate of the United States at Washington, to the end that the members of that body may stand by the Constitution of the Fathers, and that they may not abridge the rights of a sovereign state of this Union. With direct concern over Smoot's confirmation vote, Hess beseeched protection for Utah by praying that those who have sought to bring this great state into contempt may be brought to confusion, and that by so doing America may continue to be a land of freedom, as declared by the mouths of thy holy prophets. The backdrop for these prayers was a country in transition, where cultural changes across society kindled anxieties for many Americans. Senators were faced with not only the narrow question if Smoot, a high-ranking Mormon official, could enter the Senate, but more saliently, if a person's religion disqualified them for public service. Competing definitions of morality were at play, the result of which would determine the priority given to one's theology or one's inherent worth in relation to the state. A few years earlier, in January of 1903, Smoot had been elected by the Utah State Legislature despite the earnest warnings of two non-Mormon state officials, State Senator George N. Lawrence and Utah State Representative William E. White, who fervently plead with the Utah legislature not to elect Apostle Reed Smoot, and cautioned against a union of church and state that would bring upon Utah the censure of the nation and humiliation before all. As predicted by these two men, Smoot's election ignited a national maelstrom that placed Smoot, the state of Utah, and the LDS Church in the national spotlight.